you find that everything that got you step forwards to my shadow? You might follow in my pattern.
Hi, and welcome to the Ladies' Room. Today, it's my great fun to have Amy Cerullo here, who is the co-host of The Daily Dirty with Walker Vreeland, who is also here. Our friends from WBAZ. You're so much fun on the radio, the best of the best. Got all the votes this year. And so, how did you get into his show?
You know, it was a fluke. They were asking me if I was doing voiceovers for them, and I worked for the station to begin with.
How long have you been at the station?
I've been there for almost 3 years.
Okay. But that's pretty new. I mean, most people that are there have been there for a while.
A long time.
Yeah.
They come and they never
Start.
leave.
Yeah, they're there at the bottom and work their way to the top, and now they're the monsters that rule everything.
It's nice in a small market you can do that. You know, there's room for growth.
Room for growth.
This is true.
So you did voiceovers. So
I did voiceovers, and you know, Walker sort of and I were talking. I said I would like to do like an entertainment. It would be a lot of fun, and it was sort of just maybe we'll do it once. You know, I had done the weather with Walker a couple times, just more like, hey, we're friends, lighten up his show a little bit, and we decided to do the WBAZ 5 o'clock entertainment update. It was so
That's
serious.
right. Before it was the Daily Dirty, it was the entertainment update, which is such a boring name for an entertainment show.
It really is.
You know, we needed something spicier and something more reflective of what we were actually doing. And she came up with the name Daily Dirty.
Well, I figured after a few shows, and we really were starting to get into a groove that this is no entertainment report. Like, this is dirt on locals. This is dirt on celebrities that live here. This is just basically dirt. This isn't necessarily entertainment.
Well, I don't know if you're on the right show here. You know, I have another show called Potty Mouth that you might.
Fabulous. We should do a joint
We could.
live
we
extravaganza.
Could do a live Potty Mouth show.
Oh my God.
My original intention for LTV, I had all these ideas for shows like 20 years ago, was to do an Entertainment Tonight kind of thing in the Hamptons. But back in those days, LTV, literally, you had to have like 3 camera people lugging these giant cameras around. And if you went out on the road to cover an event, then you had to come back and edit it, which took hours. And I never really learned how to edit, so that was the end of that idea.
Right.
But it's so, this area is so prime for this kind of thing, the Daily Dirty.
The Daily Dirty, we just talk about gossip and the dirt and our take on it and what we feel about, you know, whatever today's celebrity has made a mess of themselves or who's in rehab or using drugs. And we also talk about,
Haven't we all been in rehab?
I don't know.
Probably not
yet.
Not
No,
yet.
not me.
Not me either.
You know, one day at a time.
I'm actually going to check myself in after the show.
Yeah, exactly.
I think to get famous, we need to, maybe we could do a rehab party.
Well, they do have that show on TV, that rehab. What is it called?
I don't know. Is that the Dr.
That's
Drew?
no,
isn't it
thing?
called-
No.
It's with that guy. What is that guy? He's so scary.
Not
I can't
Dr.
think
Drew.
of his name. No.
Okay.
No.
I don't know.
It's rehab. It's actually Rod Stewart's ex-wife. You know that Tawny. What's her name?
I don't know.
Yeah, one of those girls is on it, and there's a whole bunch of whacked out
Do they
celebrities that
the
can't
worst
get off their drugs.
commercial in the world, that Gary Busey commercial where he's like trying to get, have you seen it?
Have not.
He's trying to get, he has a new remote that you can talk to get your TV to do things. And he's like, find Gary Busey, and that one doesn't work. That's like Verizon or something, and he gets the new Amazon one, and he says, find Gary Busey, and all these Gary Busey movie comes up, and come up, and then he's like, yeah, with those big teeth.
I'm telling you, if
and
that
I
man,
want to kill myself every
feel
time
like
I
he's
see
one
it.
of the guys on the Celebrity Rehab
he
show.
was on the Celebrity Rehab at one
sure.
point.
That's
I
what
think
made
it
me
was
think
him.
of
Yeah.
And
Gotta
he's got those
be.
big
God.
teeth and that crazy hair, and
it's
he's always so like
crazy.
out
He
of
looks like he's
control.
had about 5 strokes, and if he has one more, he's going to be drooling.
It's a stroke and a facelift, a stroke and a facelift.
Exactly.
A stroke and a
Every time he has a
facelift.
stroke.
That's
what they do
back
now.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. That's going to be my routine when I'm older.
Yeah,
Stroke,
well,
okay, no problem.
I don't
Facelift.
know. I don't think you need it. You're no Gary Busey.
Well, I'm using I am using eye cream.
Thank God. I was going to say.
You know, I read that eye cream and face cream are exactly the same, and not to spend the extra money on the eye cream.
Like
I
mother,
don't know.
like
I think
son.
it's true. I think
Yeah,
that's true too.
Yeah, and you're mostly paying
Sometimes
for the
I just do
packaging. You
that
can get
and rub
the
it, yeah.
you can get the simple stuff. It works just as well. So you have kids,
I have 2 children. Yeah.
and what are they?
One is 7. My daughter Kyla is 7, and my son Joseph is 9.
That must be loads of fun.
Loads of
Keep
fun.
you really busy.
Single mother, right here at her finest.
Single mother in the
Single mom.
Hamptons. And what brought you out here? Where did you come from?
I was married at one point, and I did get married and move out here. You know,
Oh,
wanting
you
that
moved out here while you were married.
suburban housewife lifestyle, and I now went through a hellish divorce, and I'm on the other side, and it's wonderful. Life is good. Kids are
Her
great.
kids are
They're
the best.
I love my kids. I love my little world.
I
with the
love
3 of
my
us.
life.
I do. Wow.
Her kids have been on the show a couple times.
Yeah, we actually
They're
had my
very
son
talented.
was a we had him on as a Super Bowl extraordinaire, and he had all the
Plays and knew the
plays and
players.
who was
Yeah.
going to win and
Well,
why
he was
this one. Don't put
the
your money
bit
on
that
him.
we did. The bit that we did was that he was trying to explain football to me, not just the Super Bowl, but football, because I don't understand sports.
Yeah,
I was like,
me
"Oh,
either.
it's the Super Bowl. That's football, right?" It's like, you know,
And
I'm
Joseph was
absolutely,
really-
yeah.
I know, my son
So
was like, "Come on."
he was explaining. He was explaining football to me as if I were an idiot. Well, I am an idiot when it comes to sports. I'm an absolute, totally, exactly. So anyway, yeah, her kids are they're so good kids. They're good people. Like she's done she's such a great mom.
I can tell
and
from
they're
what she says on the
talented.
radio about them and her opinions.
And they're
Yeah,
so
but then in the
talented. They
next
do a lot
breath,
of voice.
you know, it's something about the celebrity that probably shouldn't be said during a 5 o'clock hour when moms are driving their kids to sports. But it's okay.
No, the kids are at the sports by then. They
right.
drive the kids to sports at like 3:34.
Right.
Okay, I'm safe.
They're in the middle of their little league game while the mother's in the
is true.
car having a cigarette listening to you.
Right. That's what we imagine. That's what we hope.
And drinking out of a flask.
Yeah, I actually had a girlfriend say to me the other day, I imagine you and Walker in there with a bottle of wine, and you guys like
We
drinking
should have had wine today.
I would
Oh,
have
that's
loved
all
to
right.
have
We'll
wine
imagine.
today. Would have been
Yeah,
great.
next time.
Yeah.
Need to be regulars now.
We'll be regulars. We have so
Yeah.
much to say.
You
We
know,
could bring you the dirt.
The reason I said potty mouth was because Walker was telling me that you didn't remember the name of the show, The Ladies' Room, and you were calling it The Toilet Bowl.
Toilet show.
The
We
toilet
used to go on the
show.
show The Toilet. I knew the name. It made for good radio. I did remember the name. I just wanted to get a laugh out of him.
Oh, okay.
So that was simply just to get a laugh out of Walker.
Yeah,
which
we don't get as down and dirty as you get, but it would be fun. That would be with the wine.
you got to have a little wine.
Yeah,
You got to let
yeah,
loose.
yeah.
And you got to let your inner beast sort of come out in the dirty way. Yeah.
You gotta find your strong point of view.
Yeah.
That's what it's-
Everyone
I think
has
that's what we
one. They're
do.
just so afraid to let it out
Yeah.
now.
It's a Katy Perry song now. Hear me
Yeah,
roar.
and you're gonna hear me. I
Me
think
roar.
that's
Yeah.
Oh.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
And we
That's
could
it.
wear
You just gotta
Katy
let it
Perry
out.
outfits. We could
We
wear
could
wigs.
yeah. We could dye our hair jet
Yeah.
black. And
LTV could use a little sprucing up.
Paint
we
the
could use
town
this as
red.
a runway.
I like what I'm hearing, ladies.
Perfect.
Let's
All right.
do it.
It's the birth of
Well,
a new
just-
show.
I'll throw a wig on, some eyelashes,
Oh,
Good.
yeah.
little bit of
some
lip
heels,
gloss.
And we'll
Great.
kick our legs up.
I love this idea.
It's sounding like a good show. We're
In
getting
fact,
somewhere now.
let's go. I'm joking.
Oh, it's a rehearsal time.
Yeah.
So did you do any TV or acting before?
You know, in years, I haven't acted or done television in years and years, but when I was, younger, I aspired to be an actress. I went to acting school, and I did
Which
all
one
the
did
little...
you go to?
I went to a little school in Orlando called Lisa Mealy School of Acting, and
Oh, funny.
it was after school in Orlando, Florida.
They
Yeah, that's
mostly
where
have
I lived.
dinner theater there. Didn't
They
you
do, but a
dinner
lot of
theater at
acting.
one point?
In Baltimore. Oh, exactly. Kill me now.
Here's your chicken.
Yeah.
Side of potatoes.
I actually lived in Clearwater, Florida.
You did. I lived in Madeira Beach for a while.
And I had been doing some acting in New York, and I went to see what I could do down there, and it was all dinner theater, and I was
Yeah,
like,
there is a lot
There's
of dinner
not much
theater in
work.
Florida.
yeah.
No, there's not much work down there, but Disney will hone in on
I
you
was
for
just going to say
small...
it could have been Cinderella. Or
You know, there's
could have
some actors and actresses who have built a life and a career working for Disney. I mean, they spend their entire lives where it's a great company to work for.
Yeah.
It is a
And
great
you can
company.
be, I mean,
I
it's
worked for Disney when I was
you know,
there.
it's an
It was
equity
great.
contract, and it's not a bad gig to work
No.
for Disney.
No.
If,
No.
especially if you are living down south.
No, but it must be a bad gig to be inside the goofy
Those
outfit
hot
on a hot day.
Costumes,
That's
yeah.
the thing about them is you don't really
Even
know what you're gonna
Cinderella
get.
is packed with
Yeah.
makeup and a
It's-
wig.
It's got to be hot.
Whoa.
With
They
a
could
smile.
make anyone look like Cinderella and anyone look like
Right.
Snow White.
So true.
They just pack on the makeup.
Yes.
Back on the makeup or
That's
slap
right.
you in a suit. They do 30 minutes on, 30 minutes off. Those people in the suits, so they don't sweat too bad in the summer.
So, so did you do some acting in Florida?
I did actually. I worked for Disney for a while at a place called Mannequins on Pleasure Island, and it was.
Oh, I love Pleasure Island.
Do you remember Pleasure Island?
Oh, the fireworks every night at
The
midnight.
fireworks, yeah.
And the vodka shots.
That is
Really?
Well,
a
they
whole,
were-
a whole era
What were they,
of
Kool-Aid
people.
shots? They were
Those
like
were-
frozen
they
Jello shots.
They weren't Jello shots. Those were tubes. They were in test tubes.
They were in
Oh.
everything, baby. They were in syringes.
And they were-
I'm serious. They served them in every kind of delivery vehicle
Container.
that you could
Could do it.
imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what I did. I worked there, and there was a private party going on upstairs one night, and I was actually working downstairs, half upstairs. So I was up and down, up and down, up and down.
In which place?
And this was in Mannequins on Pleasure
yeah,
Island, which I worked for years. And it's a whole little a group of people that we worked with there. It's almost like we became a family. It was
yeah.
so great. We're still all friends. I just was in Florida and saw them all. It's a great time. But I went upstairs, and a guy asked me to go get a drink. He said he couldn't find his waitress. And I said, no problem, I'll get you a drink. He was
I
a
thought he was
handsome...
going to take you out for a drink.
No.
wanted
He
you to
was
get him
with
a
two
drink.
beautiful blondes with these cute little fedora hats, and I was only 19 at the time, and was just like, wow, what a handsome big black man. That's what I was thinking. And so I went downstairs and I got my drink for him, whatever he
It
ordered.
wasn't O.J. Simpson, was it?
And
Right.
it was O.J.
Oh,
No,
Simpson.
that's right. I remember
Psychic.
this. Okay.
I can't believe it.
I forgot that I knew
How
this
did you
story.
know?
I don't know. You said handsome black man, and it was like that.
That's
was,
crazy,
that was
but there's
his
a lot of
era.
handsome black men. But yeah, there was
Yeah,
that.
but
And
he was-
so
So
I
wait a
know.
minute. What year was this?
this was right before he killed Nicole. This
right
was
before.
literally, I
So
want to
what,
say
93?
within a year.
I hope
No,
those two
94?
blondes are still alive.
the two blondes I'm hoping are still alive as
Yeah,
well.
When was that?
That
Oh, that
I don't know when.
94? 93?
Something like that, yeah.
I was 19, and I'm not going to say my age, but we could do the math when it's
Okay.
over and
Yeah.
figure out exactly when that happened.
Yeah.
Long story short, he totally took a liking to me, and not in a uncomfortable sexual way. It was in
Yeah.
a very, you're adorable. Do you do any acting? You know, they're filming a movie in town. Would you want to come work on it?
Oh, far out.
And I was said, well, what do you mean? Do I want to come work on it? That's
As
kind of
an
creepy,
extra?
you know. That's what I thought. And
Yeah.
then the next morning, he said, meet me at 5 o'clock in the morning at the gates to get into the Grand Floridian Hotel at 5 a.m., 4:45. So I brought two guy friends with me. You know, I'm 19. We all get up. We go. I'm all excited. They're like, oh, Jay's not going to be here. Like, what are you, crazy? And he was there, and he was waiting for me, and he guided me into the Grand Floridian where they were filming an old cheesy wrestling show with Carol Alt called Thunder in Paradise.
Carol Alt's one part she ever had.
Yeah. And so I went in, and I was 19 years old, went from waitressing to the next day making $400 a day as a speaking extra, they called it. I
speaking
had
extra.
one word that I said thank you in one scene, and then the next day I
Two
think I
words,
said,
Amy.
oh, that was one line is what I meant.
Okay.
And then the next day was something like, excuse me. And it was great. And so I get in and I worked, and it was fun, and
Could
they
you
were
get
there
a
for
SAG
6
card?
weeks. You know, I could have gotten a SAG card after that.
What was wrong with us back then?
I
We
don't
didn't-
know. It
we weren't on
wasn't-
the case getting SAG cards. You must have a SAG card.
I did. I'm lapsed.
Oh.
I'm a lapsed SAG, AFTRA, and equity member. Because when I stopped acting, when I got into radio, I just stopped paying. I mean, the dues are expensive.
Yeah.
And I just stopped paying my dues. And so now, I think to get back in, you'd have to get offered another contract.
Yeah.
It's
like you gotta do two
expensive.
things. Everything's
Yeah, it's
expensive.
But it's a
Yeah.
union. It's a union. It serves a purpose.
I'm a lapsed real estate agent because I just
Yeah.
didn't
I'm
feel-
one of those too.
Oh, couldn't deal with the continuing ed because I do
couldn't
mortgages.
either.
I originate mortgages.
Oh, you do?
And it's enough now. We never needed licenses for that before.
Right.
But now, since the mortgage meltdown and the blame game and everything, now we have to do continuing ed, which is ridiculous because every deal is different. It's all hands-on. You
Exactly.
got to know all the banks. The banks change like the wind. So
They
it's
do.
all this Dodd-Frank Act, which is like 4,000 papers, pages of nonsense because everything contradicts everything. And the banks still get to do exactly what they want to do.
It's true.
And
It's true.
and we got to take 3 hours of New York law every year. And now we have to do new fingerprints every 3 years. I'm like, what?
Well, there's a
Fingerprints
reason for
don't
that.
Change.
I must say, I know a
What?
few that are in the mortgage business,
But
and
fingerprints don't change.
your fingerprints don't change. But if they're not running you through regularly through the system of
Yeah.
fraud or
Yeah.
Ponzi schemes or white collar crime,
But they could do a criminal background. They'd still the same fingerprints.
it is. But I don't think they can unless you're renewing your stuff. Why would they run every one? So it's a protection, and I only know that firsthand because I know someone in the business that got kicked out for the fingerprints.
Really?
Amen. Yeah, get them out.
Oh.
So there's reasons behind it. I know that it's not,
Wow. But anyways, every 3 years you got to do your fingerprints, and New York State just digitalized. So they said, "Oh, you need new fingerprints." So I got the packet, and I went to East Hampton police station. I did the fingerprints, sent them in, good to go. Oh, and they don't, and I'm like, well, what's going on with my renewal? Well, you need fingerprints. I said, well, I did that. I sent them in last month. No, they have to be digital. I had to go to Hicksville
Ugh.
to a machine thing. They
wants to-
It's all money. It's all about
It's
money.
all
Yeah.
about money.
It's all about money.
It is.
Everything's all about money.
Right.
But
This
that's
is
what we
true.
were
I
just
know.
saying about the SAG thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is. It's the
But
same
then
thing.
did that job lead you to the Backstreet Boys?
No, that job actually led me to, and I am so exploiting someone right now. That job led me, the producers of that show were Doug Schwartz and Greg Bonan. And they, years later, became, we won't say that yet, they were the producers. One of the producers took a liking to me. I'm not
A flirt.
even at 19, I
Yeah.
wasn't very, I'm friendly and I have that
Yeah.
type of personality, but there's no way I'm going to go screw you for
Yeah,
a job. It
yeah.
just is never going to happen.
Now you can tell you're not a flirty person.
Well, this gentleman took a liking to me. I thought it was all business. He said, bring your headshots. I'm going to take you to dinner. This is Doug Schwartz.
Oh, it already sounds
I'm
so
going to
scary.
take you to dinner at Epcot Center. So we went to Morocco and we had dinner, and I have my file with my headshots, and I'm 19. And this is my big break, and here it is, and he's going to take me away, and I'm going to go to California and be famous. So
I'm gonna be a big
Did
star.
That's
he
what
want
I
to show
thought.
you the bedroom in Cinderella's castle?
he didn't yet at all.
Okay.
He was very,
Proper.
He was very proper. He used great manners. He glanced at my headshots and the pictures that I had, which were all professional photos. He took them with him, and then he called me 2 days later. He did try to kiss me when I left, and I wasn't very comfortable with that. He actually got the gates open so he could drive his car into Epcot Center, and I had to park, in the thing. So we left separately. He did try to kiss me. I did not kiss him.
smacked him.
I did not kiss him. So that he calls me a few days later and actually said, there's a producers meeting in the Bahamas. Would you be interested in coming for the weekend? And I said, absolutely, as long as I can bring, my friends that were gentlemen, that were guys, because I wasn't going to travel alone with some producer.
My bodyguards.
In his private plane.
Right.
So he said, well, what do you mean you have to bring guys? He said, this is a huge opportunity for you. You can mingle. You can meet so many producers. This is the best thing that could ever happen in your career. And I said, I'm not
As long
going
as I can bring a friend.
unless I can bring a friend. I'm
Yeah.
not getting on a plane with anyone unless I can bring a friend. So this
Very
was
smart.
back in the day before we had cell phones. There
Yeah.
were no
Once you were gone,
text
you were gone,
messaging.
yeah.
And it was also the day of answering machines that you hit press play. It was like an old-fashioned recorder. He left me a message. I told him no, that I wouldn't go, and I wasn't comfortable. And he left me a message from the actual event saying that I should have done it with him while, not that word, he used a much more vulgar word, while I had the chance. And that because I wouldn't do that with him, that I would never have a chance in Hollywood. Nobody will look at me in California. He's going to totally ruin my
Oh,
reputation.
Amy, I had no idea about this story.
Oh my God.
It's a casting couch nightmare.
It was-
It's a casting couch.
Now here I am, 19. I'm totally thought that was my big break. I'm crying, not even thinking I could ruin this guy and make money off of
Yeah?
it.
Did you save
Did
that
I
tape?
delete the tape and just let it go and said, and then I got out of acting. It sort of ruined my
I don't blame
mojo.
I have a telephone tape that I saved from the day with all of these people on it, but you deleted that.
I deleted that. It was a tape. Not only a year later did Baywatch start.
Oh.
So not to say I was going to be Pam Anderson by any stretch of the word. But that could have been, and I'm
Yeah.
Sweetie,
every
do you
time
need a
I
tissue?
see him working on a show,
Yeah.
you. Here you go.
it's so hard for me. Oh, Doug, why didn't I do that with you? But every time I see those shows, now I wonder, did they? Now, where people say,
All back in the day, I think they all did. Yeah.
I am floored every time I see a show now. I almost wonder, did they? Did they? I didn't realize that really went on. You think that's, a joke,
Yeah.
a running joke. I didn't
No,
realize it
back
really
in the
did
day,
happen.
that was totally how you got ahead.
That
Even
was
Marilyn
it.
Monroe had to do it. I mean,
Spread to get ahead. I guess
Spread to
that
get
was the motto
ahead.
they
Oh.
used. It's very interesting.
I've never been attracted to California, maybe for those reasons, but
it's not
it's a
called,
different.
It's not called Tinseltown for no reason.
Right, it's,
believe me, everything's very slow and very jaded out there.
right.
And
Yeah.
hot. Nothing really
Beautiful
gets
weather,
done
yeah.
before the afternoon. Or
Right.
the drinks, in the morning people slug around.
All right, that doesn't sound
But
that
you
bad.
have your share of celebrities coming into your studio.
We
I
do.
heard that Chris Allen
I
came in.
actually was telling you on the last show that Chris Allen was in, and he, what a sweetheart. He actually won American Idol over Adam Lambert. We
And
think
what
it was
was
in
his song on
2009.
American Idol? I don't really remember.
He
I remember
sang
Adam Lambert.
Apologize. Oh, at the end of it,
Apologize. Okay.
he had
I don't
another
know.
song that he
Was
came
it
out
Live
with.
Like
No,
We're
Live Like
Dying?
We're Dying wasn't it? It was he had another song that was huge
Okay,
for a
well,
while, but it's he was like a one-hit wonder. He was married and he had a child, and I don't think he was into that whole scene. You
so
know,
he did the first bit of it, and then
He
that
did
was that.
Yeah, I think he just did a couple songs.
I
but
think,
then
and
he
started
when-
releasing under his own.
'Cause now
under his own
Right.
label, I think. I
Oh,
think
okay.
he moved back home. I think he's from Arkansas.
Yeah, he said he was from Arkansas.
But,
Super nice guy. Yeah, it
Really
was great.
very sweet.
So
and very
Walker's in
down to
his
earth.
studio, and he's in there singing, and I'm dancing, and I say, Walker, you're not going to believe Chris Allen. Who's Chris Allen? I don't care who Chris Allen is. Blah, 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 blah. He's doing his thing with his
You
headphones.
make me
and
sound like such a bitch.
I leave, I shut the door. I'm like, I'm going to get an interview with him right now. So he comes out, oh my God, I love you. I was like a babbling schoolgirl, and that is so not like me to be starstruck.
Oh, and babbling, especially not like
Not at all, the babbling. I was a mess, was I not? I was loving him.
Yeah, you were. I thought you were going to get on top of it.
I kind of did too.
Yeah.
Yeah, she making up for a missed opportunity.
I think I kind of was.
But that's what the Daily Dirty's all
Long story
about.
short, we got him in for an interview, and what a gem. But he was a one-word. This brings us back full circle
yeah.
to the dry as a bone with the
Yeah.
lamb chop story.
Yep. Yep.
He was hard to interview.
Well, yeah, he was. He's just a very ordinary guy and very. I thought he was
Even
down to
just
earth.
think of like David Letterman with like, Cher or Madonna or somebody that comes on that has an attitude, and he's like being real nice and asking
Right.
them a question, and they're like, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's like, well, yeah.
Yeah.
And when you get a person like that with one-word answers, boy, whoa, you
Hard,
got to have the
yeah.
questions ready to go. Not a problem with you guys.
No.
We
I
love
have
to
not
talk.
had to refer
We
to
always
my
find
sheet.
something to talk about.
Yeah. So, so what was it that you decided to do the Durley Daily together?
It's early
Yeah.
daily. We just wanted to take it to another level. We needed
you
to
started doing it. It was like
Right.
entertainment
report,
Then
and
you
then
decided Daily Dirty.
Yeah, it
And
was the
is
entertainment
really
update.
funny.
because it
And-
limits you with the entertainment. It's not just about.
What
we
was
talked
like your
about this.
funniest thing that happened on the Daily Dirty?
Oh my God, we've had so many moments. I
Right.
have to
You guys
think.
are so funny together.
There was one time that Walker, you shocked me. And you actually, you're normally funny. But usually Walker is all about his preparation. And he prepares. He's very prepared.
Very professional.
He's very professional, which I envy so much about you. I'm a total off the cuff, no
Well,
preparation.
You're a Gemini.
Really,
We're all over the place.
we're all over the place. And he grounds me, and I love him for that, because he'll
Yeah.
say, what are you going to say about this? What's your, I don't know, I'm sort of like, whatever. Walker had a really good whatever moment one day where you came out with something, and he floored me so much we had to
couldn't
stop
stop laughing.
recording, and I can't.
You don't remember what
I
it was?
can't remember exactly what you said. It was something about you were almost making fun of me. I can't remember what it was.
Oh boy.
I wish
I
I
do
could
that
remember.
a lot. We make fun of each other a lot. I mean, we have that kind of
Repartee,
rapport. Yeah, and that's
love
what
it.
makes it so much fun too.
It does.
And we also make each other laugh. I mean, we really cross the whole spectrum of human relations in every way. We argue, we laugh, we have deep discussions.
Right. But at the core, I think we have values that are similar.
Yeah.
We both strive to be good people, and I think regardless of what we say on the air, and maybe we do cross a line, and maybe we have a lot to say, about a lot of things that we see on TV.
Yes, you're right.
Ultimately, it's we have everyone's best interest. We're not trying to
also
hurt someone.
Definitely, and also we realize that our opinions are just opinions. They're just
Right.
it's
And
not
it's
the
all
truth.
fleeting anyway.
Exactly. It
Because
doesn't
all
really
this
matter. It doesn't mean
hullabaloo
that
about the celebrities. It's
right.
Nobody
we
really
get
knows.
bombarded day after
Right.
day for
It's
weeks,
true.
and then you never hear about it again.
If I have a strong
true.
point of view about
No.
something, it doesn't necessarily mean that that's the truth or that I'm
But it's
right.
your truth.
It's
and
my
it's
truth in that
Walker's
moment.
Truth, right?
In
And
that moment, and maybe that changes, maybe that doesn't.
This half hour went even faster than the last time you came.
I know.
I want you to come back because I want to talk to you about revenge
Okay.
and scandal.
Love
and
it.
who-
Emily Van Camp is in Revenge, right?
Yeah.
It's her birthday
And
today.
it's got, cool. It's got picked up for another season. And all who's coming out here and the new restaurants and everything, we need to talk about all that stuff.
Excellent. We are so on top
Thank
of all
you.
that.
Well, Walker Vreeland, best of the best.
Thank
the
you.
WBAZ Afternoon Show, and his co-host, Amy Cerullo.
Thanks for having
Down
us.
and
Thank
Dirty,
you.
the Daily Dirty.
So much fun to be
Very,
here,
very fun.
always.
102.5, and the information is on the screen. Thank you so much for joining us at the Ladies' Room. And remember, ladies, give yourself lots of room. Room for love, very important. Room for fun, room to grow, and room to glow. Have a great week. Thank you for joining us. Yay.
You are follow.